seem to find the crime. And honestly, no one has testified of what crime they believe the president of the United States has committed. But when we start talking about things that look like evidence, they want to act like they blind. They don't know what this is. These are our national secrets. Looks like in the shitter to me.
Suppressing facts and doing violation to the First Amendment and free speech rights of Americans. Who seeks recognition? Gentlelady, Ms. Crockett is recognized.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. It's so interesting to me that we all swear an oath to the Constitution, and we say that we take that oath seriously, but when it comes into actually doing something that looks like preserving that oath or looks like preserving the Constitution, we get a little wobbly, and I'm not really understanding what's going on. Freedom of press doesn't look like kicking out the Washington Post, or actually the Huffington Post has been kicked out. We know that the Associated Press has been kicked out, and now the Washington Post is not going to allow for op-eds in any way if for some reason they criticize the sitting president of the United States. And we say that we take that oath seriously, but when it comes into actually doing something that looks like preserving that oath or looks like preserving the Constitution, we get a little wobbly, and I'm not really understanding what's going on. Freedom of press doesn't look like kicking out the Washington Post, or actually the Huffington Post has been kicked out. We know that the Associated Press has been kicked out, and now the Washington Post is not going to allow for op-eds in any way if for some.
You are looking at the exact moment the most powerful woman in American politics lost everything. Forget the polished image, the perfect smile, the calculated poise. This is the moment Ivanka Trump's control didn't just slip, it disintegrated into a terrifying, unscripted display of raw panic. This entire political dynasty is built on an illusion of flawless strength, and that illusion just collapsed live on camera. And the trigger? Not a complex legal argument, not a poll number, but 3 words spoken by one fearless Democrat: Barron Trump. When Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, a lawmaker known for dismantling arguments with brutal efficiency, shifted the committee's focus from mere tax evasion to what she called a criminal firewall, the silence in the chamber was suffocating. Every camera zoomed in. Every lawyer leaned forward. This wasn't about public funds. This was about the most forbidden subject in the family's orbit, and it forced the unthinkable. Before we even dive into the evidence, tell me in the comments right now, what do you think the family is hiding so desperately? The atmosphere changed. It turned ice cold. Crockett didn't just mention his name. She surgically inserted it into a discussion about asset sequestration. She hinted at a mechanism, a deep, dark financial secret the family had fought tooth and nail to keep buried in the sub-basement of their empire. The moment she connected Barron's name to these hidden family assets, Ivanka's face drained to a ghost white, only to be instantly replaced by a shade of furious crimson. She slammed her hand down, a sound that echoed like a gunshot, and started shouting over the chairperson. Her initial composure was pulverized in a microsecond. Crockett, citing her years of experience in criminal courts, confirmed this was not minor fraud. This was an operation of unprecedented scale and audacity. We have internal sources confirming Crockett was armed with confidential correspondence. The phrase that sent Ivanka into orbit? The alleged instruction. The B account is now the designated fortress. Maintain its firewall status until regulatory heat subsides. Ivanka's desperate scream was a desperate shield. You are vile. He is a minor. You are dragging an innocent child into your political theater. But Crockett simply stood her ground, unshaken. She didn't shout back. She didn't even raise her voice. She just slowly, deliberately held up a thick manila folder. The receipts. Inside, she claimed, were printouts of alleged internal emails, irrefutable instructions detailing the strategy to use Barron's name as a temporary custodian for astronomical asset transfers. The purpose, allegedly, was simple: to make the money untouchable by any legal or regulatory body. The hearing devolved into total pandemonium. The feed cut out for a moment, but the chaos was irreversible. Reporters were scrambling, shouting questions and furiously typing. Within minutes, social media became a war zone. Hashtag Barron Firewall and hashtag Ivanka Implosion were battling for the top spot globally. Was Crockett a reckless truth-teller or a political assassin? The world was split. But before anyone could process the first round of evidence, the lights went out on the entire conspiracy. Hours later, the scandal took a turn so dark, so conspiratorial, it felt ripped from a spy thriller. A mysterious, untraceable account, @Fam Financial Firewall, exploded online, claiming Crockett was only using 10% of the available ammunition. They posted blurry spreadsheets, but the weapon of mass destruction was a muffled audio clip. The voice on the clip sounded undeniably like Ivanka's, and the alleged words were an explicit admission of guilt. "This is how we keep Dad clean. Use the safe account. Barron's name is the perfect corporate firewall for this quarter." The internet went nuclear. If that clip was genuine, it meant Ivanka had not been protecting her brother from the political storm. She had allegedly used him as a human shield against financial auditors. The outrage was unprecedented. News channels tore into the story, rebranding Ivanka from a stylish executive to the alleged architect of exploitation. The damage was not just terminal, it was reputational annihilation. But who was @Fam Financial Firewall? That was the question that launched 1,000 conspiracy theories. Fingers were pointed everywhere. A disgruntled ex-employee, a rival step-sibling, perhaps a spurned lover. But one viral thread, hundreds of pages deep, citing impeccable internal chronology, landed on the most shocking theory of all. Melania Trump was the secret whistleblower. The logic was devastatingly simple. Melania had a singular focus: her son, Barron. The only person with the motive, the access, and the absolute lack of political self-preservation to leak documents this sensitive was his own mother, allegedly acting to prevent her son from being dragged further into the criminal light. It wasn't political betrayal, it was motherly necessity. The internet fractured. Half saw a ruthless wife turning on her husband's family. The other saw a heroic mother saving her child. Crockett, ever the master chess player, fueled the fire in a later interview with a sentence that spoke volumes without naming names. "A mother's loyalty is not to a brand. Mothers do not stay silent when their children are being exploited." The message was crystal clear. The dynasty was consuming itself from the inside out. Just when the audience thought they understood the depth of the betrayal, the final piece of evidence dropped: an alleged internal instruction memo titled Q3 Reversal Plan. It contained the alleged directive, chilling in its clarity: transfer the full amount now. The B name is untouchable for regulatory bodies. We just ride out the storm, and then we quietly reverse the transfers with full compensation for the usage. This sealed the narrative. This wasn't protection, it was weaponization. Hashtags flipped instantly. Hashtag Protect Barron vanished, replaced by hashtag Ivanka exploited him. TikTok edit spliced Ivanka's live meltdown with that cold, calculating quote: "Usage, not love. Exploitation." This is now the biggest family scandal in modern American politics. Is Melania the ultimate political assassin? Did Ivanka really use her brother as an expendable asset? And is Congresswoman Crockett still holding the ultimate nuclear option? The Trump family remains wrapped in an eerie, terrified silence. No denials, no tweets, just the deafening quiet of a civil war being fought in front of the entire world. Tell me your theory in the comments right now. Was Melania justified, or is she the ultimate traitor? Let's get this discussion trending. And make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss the next devastating leak.